I feel like I've gotten more confident with my swirling. If you look at my first one with the knife, it's pretty ugly. It looks fine. Everything looks fine with sprinkles at the end, but this one's way more dramatic. It like really says something. Hi, I'm Eric Kim. I'm a food writer and a contributor to the New York Times. Today I have a really wonderful cookie for you. It is a soft sugar cookie with raspberry frosting, and it's something that was inspired by these. You know, telling that there's so many missing here. I've been eating these for weeks, but really I should say I've been eating these for years. If you grew up in the suburbs somewhere, especially maybe with a Publix, then you may recognize these. My other name for these is grocery store cookies. I didn't know they were called anything until recently. They are super soft and cakey. They just really melt in your mouth. When I wanted to go about developing my own take on these cookies, didn't want to just replicate it exactly. I wanted to produce something that was my own. And because it's homemade, there's a lot more room for flavor when you're doing that. This was probably one of the most satisfying recipe developments I've done. They're quite simple to make. The batter itself is made from start to finish in a bowl. I love that because it means anyone can make this and you don't need a stand mixer to make this necessarily. I am gonna beat the buttercream in the mixer because it's great, but I'll talk about that later. So to start, you just need a bowl and a spoon. So this holiday is very different. Usually my family and I, we like to travel somewhere as a family, but we are staying home this year. It means that I'm gonna be cooking a lot and baking lots of cookies. All the ingredients are in here. The idea sort of is that I am rubbing the sugar into the butter. And as long as your ingredients are room temperature, this should only take, I don't know, a couple minutes. That's the butter and sugar and cream cheese creamed. I'm gonna add a whole tablespoon of vanilla extract into this. That's the hot take here. I just feel like I love these cookies because they're very vanilla-y. I think the biggest rule about this cookie is that as I was developing it, I was coming up with so many delicious, chewy, crackly, caramelized, sugary sugar cookies. I was going about it wrong, and this wasn't quite the texture I wanted. So what I ended up doing was thinking of it more as a cake. It's sort of reminiscent of the best parts of a cupcake, I think. It's the top half. Look, see how wet it is. It's a cake batter, you know? That's gorgeous. I love that. This is almost done. We have 2 more ingredients to add. And this is cake flour. I rarely call for specialty ingredients when I don't have to. It's the cake flour that made it really tender. It really took it over the edge. This is for anyone, if you can't go home this year, I think this is great for people who want a little taste of home. And you're just combining it until it just comes together. It smells so vanilla-y. Let's give it up for vanilla, right? As you can see, it's super wet, and these need to be rolled into beautiful, beautiful cookies. So in order to do that, we are going to freeze them. That never happens for me. I always get like, you know, a weird, like, you're taking about 2 tablespoons worth. I like to get about 7 per sheet pan, and I'm just going to put these in the freezer. Make sure your freezer is cleared. I think that's and as those chill, I'm gonna make the frosting. So these are freeze-dried raspberries. They are the secret ingredient to this frosting. The finer you grind them, the more raspberry flavor will end up in your buttercream. The reason I am passing it through a sieve is because I don't want the seeds. Raspberries, even in freeze-dried form, have seeds. I think the frosting really is the star, as much as I keep waxing lyrical about this batter. It's the frosting. Pinch of salt, and this just gets whipped up. Turn on low. This is really intimate. I'm just like showing everything that's in our freezer. This freezer is not made for this. Oh my god. Now they're super chilled, much less sticky and easier to work with like this. Press them down. Being home with my parents and in this kitchen, I've been baking a lot. I just dusted up the powdered sugar and it's like made this really pretty snowstorm in my kitchen. What happens when you're baking a lot and you have a small family is that you get to deliver cookies to your neighbors, and I think it's a really nice way to pass on the cheer. They are ready for frosting. You can put as much or as little as you want. You can see the way I do it. It's just, I'm really not very precious about it. And the final kind of step is some sprinkles. If you really want it to go heavy on the frosting, which I really enjoy. I think that is, I think that's the right amount of frosting for me personally. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite. That frosting is so special. Gotta hand it to the cookies too though. They are super soft and pillowy. I am so happy with these cookies. I'm so proud of them. It took me a long time to get them perfect, and I really, really believe in this recipe, and I hope you go make it. Following a recipe can be a nice way to unwind at the end of a long, long year. Cheers. My worry is that people will look at these and be like, it looks like a 5-year-old made these. You're like, oh my god.